It's been said before that 4 wheels move the body, 2 wheels move the soul. And nothing moves the soul like a vintage Harley Davidson. Well, I'm Ralph Leech, and this is my 1939 Harley Davidson Knucklehead EL. Still recall in 1974, brand new Harley Sportster, and the thump, thump, thump that produced, that really captured my imagination. So I started in on Triumphs first, and choppers and stuff like that. And it wasn't too long before I bought my first Sportster. The next bike would end up being, ironically, a 1938 Harley Davidson Knucklehead. They're a beautiful, beautiful machine. They're easy to work on. And in many regards, they represent an era, a simpler time, a freer time in life. Before you here is a Knucklehead that I'm riding now. It's my daily rider. The Knucklehead is truly an iconic engine design. Many regard it as the most pivotal motor that Harley ever produced. Now, this particular one is a 1939 Knucklehead. It is not technically correct on every front. Obviously, the exhaust system and the handlebars have been changed. The gas tank is actually a 1940 tank, but it's a candidate that I'm going to go and do a restoration on down the road. My preferred methodology is to enjoy the thing. It's a rider right now. It's a blast to ride. It has a surprising amount of power for that era. It'll get up and go like a scalded cat. Starts easy and runs beautifully. You know, there's a romantic in all of us. And one of the charms about these things, part of the charm, is you can't help but sit and look at the machine or think about it when you're riding it and ponder the people that were involved when it was built. It takes you back to a certain time, and you marvel at that, and you can't help but think to yourself, you know, where's this machine been? You know, what's the story behind the guy that bought that brand new? And all the folks that rode it, what adventures, what drama, you know, did they encounter? And that's a part of the charm. You know, the first is the actual machinery, and we've been talking about all of that, and I've touched on the charm of these old motorcycles and that. The next is the actual exhilaration of riding these things. So for example, this bike, it is a hand shift motorcycle. They call it a suicide shift, it's been nicknamed. But you change gears by changing a stick shift that's on the left side of the bike there. When you get on these things and you start rolling down the road, you know, they've got quite a bark out of the exhaust system. When you go through that maneuver of shifting gears, and letting that clutch back out and lay on that throttle, the torque in these things is pretty significant, and it gives you a real pull. The thing about it is your entire environment is open to you. You know, you're not encumbered by a roof or windows. You hear, you smell, you feel temperature changes. You're busy maneuvering the machine. These take a little more effort to ride than, you know, some of the newer ones. And you become pretty engaged in all of that. These old vintage Harleys, or any vintage motorcycle in fairness, it's an icebreaker. You know, that's the bottom line. This is where people of all ages, and the fact that one guy's a lawyer and the next guy, maybe a construction worker, is lost and gone. So it's this beautiful camaraderie that, you know, kind of is created through this, and that's a lot of fun, and it's lacking nowadays a lot. It's cool to find a passion that's shared by such a demographic, you know, beautiful.